Hello, my name is Dean Contover, and this is the Current Buzz. Thank you for watching today. We have a CEO from Drake, Massachusetts. He's the CEO of Warren Shore Farms. They had an incident in March 18th this year, and they had a barn collapse because it was too heavy in snow. I'm really surprised that the barn collapsed in regards to the pitch of the roof. I thought that would never happen.
Yeah, no, I'm on the same page. I never expected that to happen either. But it was, without dwelling on it, it was easily the worst day in the history of the company. And we've had a lot of very good days, but that.
Yeah. No doubt. Now, where were your cows? Because they were in the barn. Did you lose any cows?
Yeah, I mean, we lost 6 over the period of 2 days. So we were, and what I consider very fortunate that nobody was hurt. My grandson was in the building and he heard some rafters snap, and he went to call my son to find out, what was going on. Couldn't get a signal, walked out the door, and the building fell down behind him. So there were all sorts of, we were fortunate in that situation. We were fortunate that we had some friends that own excavators that have what they call a thumb on them. Showed up and started picking the roof off because essentially the roof came down onto the area where the animals were.
And there was snow there, so
a lot of it.
So
it was in the middle of a nasty
storm.
storm.
Yeah, I remember that.
So we had to get all the animals out of there and get them. So, just because we're in the industry we are, and we sent some of the herd to Littleton, Mass. We sent some of the herd to Dunstable. The Pickards in Littleton, the Tullys in Dunstable, Hugh McGovern over in Dunstable put all his trailers in play and hauled my cows away. It was just, and none of them ever asked for a payment. They just jumped all over it and helped us through the day because we had to get those animals off the farm that day.
Oh, wow.
And then because you got to feed them and you got to milk them because they're lactating cows.
Right, wow.
And then we eventually had to move them to a place where they would remain for an extended period of time. So they're in a place called Greenland, New Hampshire, where there's a farm up there that is called Great Bay Farm, and it wasn't being fully utilized, so we're using it.
Oh, good for you. Yeah. Good. I'm glad.
But we're sending people up there to work every day, hauling milk every day.
What's the status on the barn?
So we're sort of knee deep in that. I thought we'd be done by the end of the year, in terms of a construction project. But I guess if it's fair to say if we would have just rebuilt what we had, we'd be done. But we wanted to, because of where we're at, we wanted to look at the future and build a new facility and have robots and all that sort of thing. So that's going to take some time. We're probably going to get into 2024.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it's an ordeal for sure, but it's better.
It's happening.
Yeah, it's happening. We're going to continue to move forward with it.
If you ever been to Shore Farms has bottled milk, and it has milk in different flavors. I go up there and get the chocolate, and I get the pink flavored milk? Or
Strawberry.
Strawberry milk, I'm sorry. Strawberry.
Say pink, it sounds like Pepto-Bismol.
It looks like it. They have banana milk.
We have banana, we have strawberry, we have 2 chocolates. One of them.
And it's in the bottle. You get the bottle, you bring it back, empty, they exchange, and you tell them how many bottles you've brought in, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is, and you take 4 out, and they only charge you for the milk and not for the bottle.
Right.
Which is cool. And you also have delivery. Now listen to this. He's going to tell you how to contact them. They have a milk truck that goes around the towns, and I think in Chelmsford, I've seen.
Chelmsford's one of the biggest. Yep.
Is all right.
Yeah.
So listen to this. If in case you want to get milk from Shore Farms, go ahead.
It's just a good. Get on our website, shorefarm.com. That's SHAWFARM.com, and you can sign up there. It gives you the entire product list, and we do have a lot of folks from Chelmsford out there. We'd like to add more to the list.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's everything that we sell is available delivery. So it's not just a milk thing. It's it's milk, it's ice cream, it's beef products, it's bakery products, all of that, all available at the door.
Right.
So it's a good service.
It's like a country store in Drake. Go there, you can get the milk, the ice cream. They have 75 flavors. My favorite flavor is vanilla. I'm sorry, but I'm a vanilla person, and to me, they have one of the best vanilla flavored ice cream that I've been around the world in regards to the world, I would say. I really like their vanilla ice cream. But I digress, and
You can talk about my ice cream all day long. I'll be all right with
yeah, all right, that's cool. It's reasonably priced. It's made
it. There.
there,
Yeah, it's
right?
made from our dairy products.
And you have the bottling facilities there.
Yep, everything is there.
Everything is there. One-stop shopping, more or less. Right.
Yeah, in terms of, we have the ice cream stand also, the scooped ice cream.
That's speaking of the ice cream stand. I'm going to bring out the Boston Globe Wednesday article. It's dated August 9th, 2023, and it says 20 of the best ice cream stands in Massachusetts, and yours is one of them. And how long have you been in the ice cream business and ice cream stand? Because it's only been, the last 10, 12 years?
So we started making ice cream in about 68 or so, but then in terms of the scoop operation, I built that in 1999.
Okay, so that was basically 23 years ago.
Right. Yep.
Right.
Yep. And that's been a good
Steady.
win for us. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I think it's basically the only ice cream stand in Drake.
There's a couple of others,
there's a
but we don't
couple.
need to talk about that.
Oh, okay. Hey, by the way, are you going to run for select board in Drake by any chance?
What I can tell you is that there have been a number of people ask me to do that, and I've not said no. We have some. I'd almost rather it be somebody else because everybody should have their opportunity to lead their town.
Because you did that when you were 21.
I did it for 24 years.
Oh, 24 years.
24 years, and then I've been out 20. So I did it when I was a kid. It was a positive experience. I enjoyed it, and I would be happy to do it again. Like I said, I would encourage somebody else to do it first, and then we'll see. But it's a good opportunity. It's a good time. I know that the town will be changing town managers in the near future. I think it's critically important that we, bring in the best available, as we did the last time when I was involved. We brought in Dennis Beendek, so
Right.
Very much like Paul Cohen, a real straight shooter. And,
Right.
Yeah.
You like Paul Cohen, don't you?
I do. I like Paul Cohen a lot. I've been a fan of his for as long as he's been out here.
Would you, if you got on the select board, would you try to recruit him?
I actually have had that conversation with Paul once, and I can tell you, he only wants to be here in Chelmsford. So I wouldn't bother.
That's my understanding.
And I support that. I love Chelmsford, and I feel like he's just a wonderful fit for this community.
Yeah, interesting. Listen, I have a couple of questions for you. Shorts Farm history is basically since 1908.
08.
Yeah, 1908. Yeah, that's quite a long time for a business.
Yep.
And especially a farm.
Right. So, I mean, I could roll the camera back. It's kind of interesting that my great-grandfather started the business, so that makes me generation number 4.
Wow.
And they were all up in Nova Scotia, which may or may not be where this hurricane hits, but
Hurricane Lee.
they were in Nova Scotia because they had previously been in Rhode Island, and the King of England threw the French people out of Nova Scotia. You remember that story? And gave free land away, and they went up and took some of it. They were there a couple of generations, and they got into the shipbuilding business, and then metal ships took over the marketplace, and they were out of work. So my great-grandfather, at 14, came down here and went to school by himself. Family stayed up there. Then he ended up working for a dairy farm in Drake-it, and so all those pieces began to fall together then. Yeah.
I have another question. Organic milk is popular.
Yeah.
You have organic milk?
We do.
Is it in the bottle or is it?
It's in plastic.
It's in plastic.
Right.
Okay.
It's just, I mean, at some point we may go into it. It's very difficult to have all your products in multiple containers. And we, I mean, there have been people ask about putting it in glass, but we have, 2007, I started the organic business. And, it's done very well because we, I believe, still are the only Massachusetts dairy that is creating an organic milk product and selling it directly to consumers.
Wow.
So I think it's part of why it has grown. I mean, that's on the home delivery stuff, on the routes.
So on home delivery, people ask for organic milk.
Yeah, they
Okay.
right. And we have a wholesale business, down around Lexington, Concord, Wilson Farms, Vero Farms, all those places sell our products.
Oh, good.
And they sell a lot of that organic too. So, yeah, no, it's a good product line. I hope to be able to grow that in the future.
Would a big issue in society is pasteurization of milk. Do you believe in it or don't believe in it, and why?
Pasteurization. So pasteurization, Louis Pasteur, right? I mean, that's
Yeah, goes back.
Pasteurization came about for one reason: to kill bacteria.
That's correct.
Right, and there are, and that's all it does. It doesn't hurt the product, right? There unfortunately are some people out there that think that it has a negative effect on the special enzymes of milk or something. That's something they read on the internet. I mean, I would not sell non-pasteurized milk to anybody, because it's this simple, right? So milk comes from nature, right? So there's going to be a time when maybe pre-pasteurization it has some, it could have, some issues, shall we say. The pasteurization kills whatever that is.
Yeah, the bacteria.
It's right, and so I would not sell a product that would endanger the life and safety of somebody who, I mean, if you have a compromised immune system and you consume something that's got bacteria in it, the results could be, in some cases fatal.
About that time, they started putting chlorine in water in regards to, because there was bacteria in water, and that saved society in regards to taking out the bacteria in water, and that we could drink potable water in society.
Yeah.
And it was about that same time that they realized that they can do this to water.
Right.
And it's enhanced society immensely.
I couldn't agree more. And that that there have been, multiple occasions when, somebody will tell you, oh, I grew up on a farm and I drank raw milk and nothing ever happened to me. Well, you were probably a young, healthy guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, the problem is, I'll give you my favorite example. Back when this was really a buzz, I got a call from a gentleman who was in the Chelsea housing project, and he had terminal cancer, and he said to me, "Can you sell me raw milk? Because I've been told that if I can drink raw milk, it'll kill my cancer." And I said to him, "Well, it might, probably kill you, right?" So I mean, it's insane to think that something that has been pasteurized isn't good.
You would think that if they would have found this out 50 or 100 years ago in regards to milk and cancer.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's kind of a crazy notion. People do it. I know some dairy farmers that sell raw milk, and they're only doing it because they're trying to make a living, because that's very difficult to do on a dairy farm. But
the biggest crop in Massachusetts is now cannabis. It took over from cranberries.
Right. Yeah.
And you are the president of the Massachusetts Farm Bureau Federation.
Right.
Let's talk about that. How many members? It's the whole Commonwealth of Massachusetts, is that?
Right. So we are, Farm Bureau, I guess you would start off as a national organization.
Okay.
So American Farm Bureau.
I love farmers.
American Farm Bureau has 50 states, right? So I'm one of the 50 people that runs American Farm Bureau. within the state, Massachusetts Farm Bureau, which I'm the president of, is made up of counties, and every county has Middlesex County has its own Farm Bureau. All the counties have their own, and they have their own board of directors,
That's interesting.
and one of them serves on the state board of directors with me, and that's what I'm the chairman of that board. But it's a very necessary organization, because like with every industry, you have to have a voice.
In other words, lobby.
Right, that's what it is. It's lobby, and lobby, in my view, is not a dirty word.
No, okay. Yeah.
I mean, you have to have access to the people that are in decision-making roles, and it's not just going to the people in the legislature, which we do. We have a paid lobbyist, a licensed lobbyist, but it's also interacting with the people that run local governments, with the people that run state agencies. There's always, when you run a farm, dairy farm, produce farm, orchard, whatever, you're always going to run into little issues with regulation, and so our job is to be able to represent you with the levels of government.
I see. Do you have people who have cannabis farms in your organization?
You know what? I can't tell you that we have a lot of them, but there are some that have joined, and. No judgment. If they want to be a member, you could be a member of Mass Farm Bureau, and you don't grow anything that I know of. But I mean,
I grow mushrooms in my backyard.
There you go. Yeah. No, I've been sort of on the other side of the issue. So, quick story. Mass Farm Bureau has an organization called Ag Preservation. And what we allow ourselves to do is, if somebody has preserved a piece of land, there has to be an easement over it, and somebody has to be in charge of that easement, so we do that.
Oh,
so we were in charge of an easement on a farm down in not Newport, Mass. And we got into a tussle over somebody who wanted to put a marijuana farm on something that should not have been approved. So we stood our ground and didn't allow it. But I mean, all of those rules as it relates to cannabis are going to be modified, I think, going forward.
I see.
Not everybody is a fan of the cannabis world.
Well, in Chelmsford, we don't have any cannabis growing at all or selling.
That you know of.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, that's to be said.
Well, it's in a building. I mean, most people talk about growing cannabis on a farm, but realistically, if you're going to grow marijuana, it's going to be in a building.
Right, in this area.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about artificial insemination of cows. You don't have a bull on your farm.
No.
Right. So, what do you do in regards to getting the cows pregnant to have calves?
So, I mean, just about every dairy farm does that now.
Right.
I mean, there are, occasionally a farm will have a bull, but it's very dangerous. I mean, they can be, I always tell people every bull has a day when it becomes nasty, and it'll hurt you. Mm-hmm. I've seen a bunch of them do that. So they might be 4 years old, and all of a sudden one day they look at you and they want to kill you. Bulls tend to be like that. So why would you want to have one of them on your farm? When you can have artificial insemination, you can vary the herd, right? So if you just have a bull, they're all going to be the bulls, right?
Right.
One
Good
family.
point. Yep.
When you have artificial insemination, you have a genetics expert come onto your farm and look at every animal and decide who they should be bred to in order to improve each successive generation of females, right? So, and they actually have now sexed semen, which means that they can predict its sex.
Its probability.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so as a result of that, every generation of dairy cows is improving because of the breeding.
Are they improving structurally, or are they improving producing better milk, more milk, or
all of the above?
All of the above.
Right. So you have a list of bulls, the genetics list that would say, you may have some cows in your barn that that have weak legs. So you can breed them to a bull that has a history of having daughters that have strong legs.
Wow.
You may have cows in your barn that have what they call a poorly attached udder, which, you know, everybody's seen that picture of a low-hanging cow's udder. Well, you don't want that, right? So you can breed that mother to a bull that has a history of having daughters that correct that. So all the way along the line. There are also bulls that have history of having, you know, have daughters that make a lot of milk. You know, so you want to mix
That's
it all
what you
together.
want, right?
Right. So
Yeah.
you want to have a good, strong, healthy cow that makes a lot of milk. And you also can, you know, you can also breed to animals that give more butter fat. You know, so
Oh, wow. Okay.
there's every single time you make a choice, you may lose somewhere else.
Now, when you get this semen straw, there's different prices on different bulls because some
Yes.
are better.
You know an awful lot about this.
Well, I mean, I do because I was on a farm in Minnesota. You know, I love farmers,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
because they produce food and dairy products, etc.
Yep.
And if we didn't have farmers, we'd be lost in this country.
Yep.
Every time I go to the supermarket, I appreciate the farmer.
Everybody should.
Yeah,
I mean, that's.
But I think some people take it for granted.
Oh, yeah.
Warren.
They
you
go
know?
into the supermarket and buy the cheapest product, and they get annoyed if it goes up 2 cents. And you know, I mean, to me, the one thing we have in this country is cheap food, and that's. I mean, you're going into the supermarket, your bill has gone up. It isn't necessarily the food that has gone up; it's all the other items that are sold on the market that have driven the price up. But food has been a real value for
staple.
people. And a
Basically.
real value, you know, particularly when you have a market like Market Basket, whose really their business model is to provide low-cost food, right? So,
Yeah, I get that.
Yep.
Yeah, he has done a lot for this, the Merrimack Valley.
I think so.
So in regards to, let me explain to you. I was in Minnesota, and I was on a farm, and it was a big farm. I don't know. I mean,
Who are you doing there?
I have friends in Minnesota. I mean,
all right.
You know, I mean, 10,000 lakes, right? And I was at the farm, and they told me that I want to get to the artificial insemination. The truck pulled in because the farmer can't go to get the semen.
Right.
The truck pulled in, and the guy had immense semen in the truck. I think it was frozen.
Of course.
Come
yeah.
out with a
Yep.
stick with the straw, and they were explaining to me the higher amount, the better the bull,
Higher the price.
higher the price. I mean,
Yeah.
the better the bull. The higher
Same with cars, right?
Huh?
Same with cars, right?
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, I learned something. It was really interesting.
Yeah.
They had charts. They had the picture of the bull,
Yeah.
and they gave a litany of what was happening with the bull.
Spreadsheet on all
Yep,
of them, yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
It was a spreadsheet.
Yep.
I was saying, wow, this is interesting.
Well, it's not. I tell people all the time, it's not my grandfather's dairy business anymore. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's a whole different world, and you know, when we meet the next generation with our new barn, we're going to have robots milking the cows, not people.
Wow.
We're going to have robots cleaning the manure up, not people.
Wow.
And that's a good thing. I mean, that's going to, you know, make it easier to employ people.
What's the reason for dry hay?
Well, dry hay is like horses eat dry hay.
Okay.
Right? So, and cows do too, but
Yeah.
for the most part,
It doesn't cause fires in the
no,
barn.
it doesn't cause
it's
fire.
wet.
But in the case of the stuff that we're making, that's why it's wrapped, because it might have some spontaneous combustion issues if you
Right,
do that.
exactly.
But
I even know that.
You do?
Yeah.
I put up a lot of dry hay for a lot of years, and I'm happy not to be doing it.
That's why your upper torso is
Right, it's big, yeah. 54-inch shoulders.
Wow, yeah, because of hay.
Right, and
That's-
not only hay, I can tell you that.
Oh, okay. I mean, but that's why you get those big boys at the University of Nebraska playing football,
Yeah.
because they were handling hay all their life.
Yeah, well, hay and milking cows, and there's, you know,
And fresh air.
when you get you grow up on a farm, you're gonna be stronger than most people.
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.